This is Lewis Hart for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store, forged Irish stout and ready to fight. Delighted to be joined with Skye Nicolson. We're here at Buatsi versus Aziz. You've just seen, I suppose, sometimes sparring partner Fran Hennessy box to a nice 6 rounds. Happy with what you saw right there?
Yeah, I feel like Fran has so much time, so much potential. She's so young. I think she boxed really well tonight. She had a tough, awkward girl in front of her, and she handled herself so maturely. I think she's got a really wise head on young shoulders. So I'm very excited for the future of Fran.
I was going to say, when you look at her future and the development she's in now, even at 19 years old, she's showing so much promise, and she can get moved quickly if she wants to be.
Yeah, definitely. But I do feel there's no rush really. I think they're moving her along perfectly at the moment. Get the fights, get the time in the ring, get the experience. She's got so much time. So I think we're going to see a better Fran every time she's out. She's like a little learning sponge. She soaks it all up. So no, I'm excited for Fran. I think she's going to do big things in the game.
And when it comes to Fran, yourself, you did have a heavy amateur career. Herself, done well as an amateur, but obviously didn't have that many senior fights. How important is it now with the early pro fights that she's getting a lot of learning with sort of girls that are, more experienced, bigger than her, especially when it comes to the pro game, because when she don't have that senior amateur experience, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't feel like there is any rush with her. She's so young, she's got so much time, she's going to develop so much physically, mentally, so there is no rush there. I feel like I couldn't imagine turning pro at 18, 19 years old, so yeah, good on her for doing it. She's smashing it, she's doing really, really well, but I think pick the right fights at the right time, and she's going to have a really successful career.
Well, I suppose we'll move on to topics that surround you. Big 2024 incoming for yourself. Just before we do that, looking back on 2023 put you in the position that you are in now. When you look back on that year, a lot of progression and growth for yourself?
Yeah, it was a great year. 4 really, really good wins. I started the year in not a really good place mentally. I struggled with some stuff away from boxing, and it made that first fight of the year quite difficult. But I think I really, really switched on. I went all in on my pro career, left the Olympic dream behind, and yeah, I feel like some big corners were turned in 2023, and we saw some of my best performances. So I'm very, very excited for 2024. I think everything's starting to fall into place exactly how it was supposed to, and I feel like I'm on my path to big things.
You mentioned there about the start of the year being not quite mentally right for yourself. How important is it that to box well in the ring, you need to be mentally in check? It's really a lot of the work is done outside of the ring to make sure that you perform in the ring. Is it sort of a big thing for you that you need to be mentally right and going in the headspace, because you say when you're right mentally, that's when you will perform best?
Yeah, I feel like boxing is just such a mentally tough sport, and if things aren't sitting right internally, it's going to show externally in your boxing. So yeah, it's definitely important to make sure you've got the right balance of things going on away from boxing, so that you can be fully focused and in a good place with everything going on in there when you go in that ring, because yeah, any distractions, it's too dangerous a sport to be distracted and have other things going on in the back of your mind.
Well, I suppose when you look at 2024, boxing for a world title, something that you've always dreamed of, what's that like, that feeling? Are you taking it like as any other fight, or do you feel like it does feel extra special in a way?
It definitely feels extra special, but I do try to train for every fight like it's a world title fight, because at the end of the day, you wouldn't be getting the world title fight if you didn't win those other fights. So every fight's important. So I am very, very excited. The goal was to go undisputed. That was the fight I wanted. This is the next best I could hope for. So I'm really excited to get a really good statement win in this fight. Sarah Mahfood won 3 rounds against Toronto. She's not winning 1 round against me. And that's if it goes the distance. That's how I feel about this fight. So I'm very, very excited to make a big statement in this fight and keep pushing towards that undisputed fight.
What was it like, the change of mentality from the Olympic dream, even like in the amateur career, having that Olympic dream to almost falling in love with the idea of going to the Olympics, and that being like when you first start, that's all you think about, then switching it to like the world titles? Was that sort of what was that switch like for you?
you know what, I feel like the Olympics was the be-all, end-all, and I felt like obviously with everything that happened at the Tokyo Olympics, I felt there was unfinished business. I was 100% going back to the Olympics. Turning pro was a bit like, yeah, I'll do it, but only because I know I can go back to the Olympics. Like, if it was one or the other, I 100% wouldn't have done it. And that for me was like, I honestly couldn't believe how much my drive, my energy, my plans and goals changed over that first year as a professional, and how swept away I got into the pro game, how much I loved it, how much I loved performing and walking out into the big arenas, the music, all of it, everything that goes with it. I absolutely love it. And for me, it became such an easy decision to make. Like, I knew 100%, I knew my heart had changed, and I had new goals, bigger goals, and I'm so excited. I feel like the unfinished business with the Olympics isn't with the Olympics anymore. It could be potentially with one fight as a pro, and that fight will definitely be there as well. So for me, I'm all in on my pro career. I've got huge dreams. I've got a vision of exactly what I'm going to achieve, and I'm so excited for the next couple of years.
Well, I suppose you mentioned there about sort of unfinished business. You're not looking past Sarah Mafu, but you do have to look at other potential. I suppose you're not British, but I suppose you would call it a domestic rivals in Raven Chapman, and obviously the big one being Karriss Artingstall. Realistically, think that these fights definitely will end up happening?
Of course, I can't wait. I feel like there's some great fights to be made. I feel like us girls that are coming through now, we're going to shake up the featherweight division. It's going to be exciting. I think a fight with Raven Chapman is 100% on the cards this year. I feel like Karriss Artingstall's been moving a little bit slower, but I feel like that's definitely a fight down the line. But yeah, I'm excited. I feel like there's a whole new generation coming through, and women's boxing is getting really, really exciting.
Absolutely, Skye. Thank you for taking time to speak to me. Really good to catch up with you. And yeah, all the best for whenever the fight date could be. Hopefully very soon. Thank you. Cheers.
We need to think of a new advert for freebets.com.
Get your best betting offers from freebets.com.
Yeah, that'll do.
The following deals are now live.